If Emperor was dead, she didn't care what they did to her. When she came to, the room was thick with smoke. She dragged herself onto her knees and crawled towards the door, hauling herself up by the handle, praying it wasn't locked. When she pulled it open, a long, cold surge of oxygen smacked her face. As the air rushed past, there was a high, whistling sound like a train going through a tunnel. Seconds later, the backdraft hit her, demolishing the hoarding and propelling her forward in a ball of flame. Chapter 2. Dr. Rhona MacLeod switched on the data projector, inserted the crime scene tape in the video recorder and pressed play. The output on the large wall screen was as good as if she had been at the cinema. Police photographers routinely recorded a body's position and injuries, sometimes catching those who moved quietly in the background. The scene of crime officers, the pathologist, the forensic expert, like herself. The body on the screen was that of a young male. He lay in the pugilistic attitude typical of fire victims. The arms extended from the shoulders, the forearms partially flexed in a boxer's stance. In close-up, his skin had odd white patches left unburnt, although intense heat had ruptured his skull and split his ankle joint, so that the right foot was free of his leg. She had examined fluid from his blistered skin, but the results were puzzling. Some behaved as if they had been made after death, with little fluid to extract and no positive protein reaction on test tube heating. Others behaved as though they had been created while he was still alive. It was common for murderers to believe they could cover a death with fire, but fire did not consume everything. Even the slightest traces of accelerant could be sampled and identified. The difficulty lay in deciding whether a chemical detected at the scene was there normally or for the purpose of starting the fire. Rhona stopped the tape and switched it for the home video Detective Inspector Bill Wilson had sent round. While the hullabaloo was going on round the burning Glasgow tenement, someone in the crowd had had the sense, or the morbid curiosity, to capture it on video. She might have been watching a television drama, except that the expressions of fear and determination on the faces of the firemen were real, and the flames that roared from the roof of this building were not computer-enhanced. The owner of the camcorder had zoomed in on a couple on the second floor. The man was holding a baby out of the window in a desperate attempt to help it breathe. The look of terror on the woman's face distressed Rhona, even though she knew all three members of the household had escaped unharmed. Rhona concentrated on the flames, their colour, shape, direction and intensity. The characteristics of a fire could provide clues to its origin. She played the tape through once more, pausing periodically, taking notes, knowing someone in the fire department would be doing exactly the same thing. Chrissy McInch, her scientific officer, stuck her head round the door at 7. "I'm starving. Fancy something to eat? We could try the new Chinese takeaway on Gibson Street." "What do you fancy?" Rhona shrugged. "You decide." While Chrissy went to order, she began to clear away the debris of the day. She checked her email once more, in case there was a message from chemistry about the tests on the fire debris, knowing it was too soon. This was the time in an investigation when patience was most needed. And when she had it least. Outside, midwinter darkness enveloped the Kelvin Grove Museum and Art Gallery and the neighbouring park. The park was frequented by families during the day, but it became the location for a different type of pleasure after dark. Tonight, the ill-lit paths were deserted. There was one message in her inbox, no subject title, and she didn't recognise the address. She contemplated dumping it. In an attempt to cut down on the spread of viruses, IT services had advised the deletion of any unofficial-looking mail, but curiosity got the better of her. It was a string of capital letters. ICHB